Hello, I am here from the Devys YouTube channel, and this is a review of my latest application that I've created, which is a calculator. So, just before I get started on the review, I would like you to visit my website down below, which has a form on it, which would be great for you to fill out. It will help me get more information about the people that like my channel and site, so that I can make it optimized for the users that actually enjoy it. So let's get straight in. First of all, I'll show you what the product actually is. It's this right here, and it does have these buttons because of the Yosemite, but it would be changed if you're on Windows. So the calculator does work as a calculator, except there are a few bugs, whereas if you divide by 0, it's equal to infinity. So, pardon me, this is the code right here, and there's something like 370 lines, and let me just flip into the design view. So this is the design view, where basically you can, I use a Swing Designer window builder add-on to Eclipse, so you can literally just drag and drop stuff in and just name it then. You double click on one of the buttons, it adds a action listener, so actually no, let's go to the top. First things first, these 3 imports here allow me to use JavaScript within Java, but I'll get back to that in a second. So here is where I'll create the JFrame and the JText field, and my integers to control the 2-dimensional string array, which is here. So these integers control which part of the 2-dimensional input array I set the value of. And then there's a display string, so the calculator knows what to display. Yeah, sorry about that. Also, this is the factor for plus, minus, divide, times button. Yeah, so down here is where the factor gets initialized or defined, because if it's not defined, it messes up the calculation. This is how we define all 100 of my input string array. Then at the end of that, I set x and I back to 0. This works with a for loop inside of a for loop. So every time x goes up 1, I goes up 10, and then input x, I is equal to that, like nothing. This is all defining of the stuff, and when AC is pressed, all this gets reset, so the factor and the input all gets cleared. X and I back to 0 display back to nothing. So when a number button is pressed, input xi would be defined as the number you've pushed, and then the display variable is equal to display plus the input. Because both these variables are strings, if you equal it to itself plus another string, it appends to a string, so it wouldn't do 24 plus 24, it would do 24 with another 24 on the end, so 2424. That makes sense. And then I plus plus, and this was a little thing I added in last time I recorded this video. I have already recorded it, but I accidentally did it with my old version of ScreenFlick, which, no, maybe it was ScreenFlow. screen flick. And this was with my old one. This was my old version, so I hadn't activated it, so it has a huge watermark over the middle, so I decided to re-record it using QuickTime this time. So I hope that's not a problem. And yeah, what this does, if I is equal to 10, because in the string array, there's only 10 by 10 in the two-dimensional input array, so that's 100 variables, which you might think, wow, that's loads for a calculator, but what if you want more than a 10-digit number in there? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you want a plus 3, and it will do it, except it might have like an E in there. This isn't meant for like huge calculations, but I will sort out all the bugs in time for a series which I'm going to teach Java and help you understand how it works, and in probably around episode 30 in that series I'll be starting a tutorial on how to make this calculator. When a button such as point button work a decimal place, it changes does exactly the same as if a number button was pushed, because that makes sense. I should probably put like a catch in there, so if there's already a dot in the string, it shouldn't let you, but this method would just defeat the point of that. Oh well, we'll sort that out. So if, for example, a times button is pressed, instead of defining the input variable or array, it defines the factor array with x. So in a two-dimensional array, if you don't know, imagine this x goes down and this I goes across. X goes down 10 and I goes down 10 and across 10. So what this does is, for every x there's 10 i's, and if there's 10 x's then there's 100 i's, which therefore allowing us to have 100 different variables stored in one variable. This factor here we use in the eval method in JavaScript. In a second I will show you how it works, and then it just does x++ to get to the next set of the factor. If you don't know, in Java, x plus plus adds 1 onto the value of the integer before the equation. So I equals 0 again, just setting it back to the beginning of the next part of the string, and the display set back to nothing. Sorry about that, that was my chair. The way this is done is actually quite clever, not being modest at all, but I thought of a way when you push the times minus divide button that it uses the same variable to control which part of the array factor it goes into as the part of the array input it goes into. So yeah, that's basically it. I don't think there's any more interesting stuff down here. Nope. This here is the interesting code. It does go across quite far. You can't see all of it, sorry. It goes off the screen a bit here. Right here. Anyway, so this is the equals button. Oh, sorry. Right here is where the equal button is created. This changes all of our input with 0. So the first part of the two-dimensional array, all of the 0 section, so 10 different variables into one string, and because all of these are strings, it appends to each other, so you'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 9, and they compile into each other to make something like 11,000 or 1,179. If I can't remember what I said. It does this for each of them, and at the end here, it has an object which is the result, and is equal to, this is what we use up top, which allows us to take the values of strings and use them as if they were the sum of what you want to do. So this would be the first number, then this would be the factor, the second number. The cheeky little if I equal to 10 x plus plus works only because I use the same variable to define which section of the of this dimension of the input actually gets inputted into, as I do for the factor, because it would be like 1, it would have the first number, and then say you continued, it would skip out this factor and it would still be equal to nothing. Not null, because if it was equal to null, it would throw out errors. That's why I define them all at the beginning. Whereas this, then it would just skip that. So it would be like 22,000 million, and then 229, and then times, and then 72. So that's how it works. It just skips out the factor if it doesn't need it. Whereas this factor, this does have a end to it. It only can hold up to 10 different numbers. So 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10, 10 times, which is the only flaw in this. So then after it's got the result, it puts that, it creates a string called answer, which is equal to the result dot toString, which converts an object, or pretty sure integers do this too, and then it converts them to a string, and that sets the display field as the answer, and that's how this calculator works. So if you guys want to have a mess about with the calculator, the download is on my website. However, if you want the code for this, you'll have to wait until I cover this in a series about Java. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video of me doing this review of this. So I will see you in the next review. Goodbye.